Well, welcome staff, one and all, once again, boys, girls, attack helicopters, however you may identify. Who am I to say you're other than what you tell me you identify as? Today we're responding to the very, very ridiculous, very, very Dunning-Kruger suffering, very, very insolent little boy known as Nick Hiebert on the interwebs, who is responding to me responding to him when he was responding to Tucker Goodrich. Given that Nick completely lacks absolutely the courage of his convictions to actually face me, front me, and have a debate with me, it seems that we're stuck with backwards and forwards through this medium at the moment. I'm fast getting bored of Nick Hiebert and his ridiculous, childish, as I said, insolent behaviour. This might be about the last thing I have to say about Nick or anything he has to say, probably. Anyway, let's respond to Nick responding to me, and we'll deal with his nonsense in our usual indomitable fashion. And yeah, for those of you that don't already, you'll get the full picture on truly how desperate, how destitute, and how completely out of his depth this absolute child is. Right, let's go.
Okay, here we go. It's all good now.
So he hasn't even organised his resources, and he's sitting through the splash screen. Incredible.
What the fuck?
Get your resources together ahead of time, Nicholas. Be ready for what you are producing for your audience. No wonder nobody's interested in anything you have to say. No wonder your view count is so low and your subscriber count is so low. Really? We're going to sit through all of this?
I'm just going to pause it for a second.
Yeah, because we've made so much progress so far, haven't we, Nick?
So I think he's going to be reacting to an argument that I'm making. I'm just going to put that in VC text so that everybody can like kind of see like what he's reacting to. I think that's what he's going to be reacting to. So I'll start the video again.
So this is Nicholas's way of argumentation. This is his response to everything, is to giggle like a prepubescent schoolgirl, as if that is in some way going to have any impact on the veracity, correctness, and fortitude of anything I've had to say on any topic ever. I mean, he's showing amusement now at my choice of introductory music, which would seem a strange thing to be amused by, but whatever. You'll see the same response as his argumentation as we go along, because in terms of the substance that Nicholas brings and offers to any argumentation, there is less than none, which you'll all see for yourselves very soon. Right, class, thank you for joining me once again. We were dealing with the very, very ridiculous Nick Hiebert once again on another piece of absolutely stunningly inept logic and argumentation. This is basically just an example of the sophistry that this turd of a boy and his little friends like to indulge. So there's the first example of it. That's his way of responding to criticism and to argumentation. That's all he's got, boys and girls, just as a spoiler. Basically, what he's going to do is giggle inanely like a prepubescent schoolgirl is what he's going to do. He's going to completely and point-wise fashion and we'll put Nick right where he's wrong. And spoiler, boys and girls, as usual, guess what? It's fucking everywhere. All right, Nick, off you go.
All right, everybody, we're going to do something pretty fun today. Today, we are going to show how Tucker Goodrich's position on seed oils and heart disease actually entails a full-throated logical contradiction.
The only thing that's going on by way of full-throating here, Nicholas, is by you and your little band of sycophantic boys who like to hide in your mummy's basements and hold hands electronically and congratulate each other on your sophistry and your pseudo-sopalism. Basically, you are all complete wastes of oxygen, space, time, and skin, okay? So you want to talk about full-throating? That's where you're going to find it, son, okay? Not in anything that Tucker Goodrich has had to say or do, as far as I'm aware.
No,
what you're going to do is misquote him, twist his words to suit your ideology, and completely misrepresent the facts. There's the comeback again. Actually, is what you're going to do. And then you're going to pat yourself on the back and say, aren't I clever? And all your little friends who like to electronically hold hands with you and eat popcorn and also hide in their mummy's basements will all come in their pants and think, goodness me, Nick Hiebert is so clever. Look at all this clever. So he really is excellent at the comebacks here, isn't he? Great substance there to these comebacks. Awesome engagement with the actual criticism being levelled at him, quite rightly so, by a gentleman such as myself who is vastly superior to Nick in terms of years of experience on the planet, in terms of academic acumen and credence and credibility, veracity of what I have to say, background as a scientist, and possessor of some of the most basic common sense that human beings need to survive well outside of their mummies' basements. The logicking that Nick Hiebert can do. Well, it's not going to fly, son. We'll get to that in a minute, though. Off you go.
Which is defined as affirming a proposition and its negation simultaneously.
Except Tucker didn't do that. Yeah, but Tucker doesn't do that.
Yes, he does.
Shit, the echo's good in here, isn't it? No, he doesn't, Nick. We'll get to that in a minute. Still no amount of saying he does will not make it true. He does not.
Which is highly problematic for him.
It would be if he did that. He didn't do that. You did.
No, I'm showing how it's entailed, you fucking idiot.
No, you rude, insolent little boy. You're not showing anything of the sort. What you are doing is misquoting and misrepresenting what it is that Tucker Goodrich has to say in two separate clips on this video, making out like he has said something that he has not said at all. We'll get to that, though. In his mouth, you misrepresented what he said, you misquoted what he said. What are you going to in this video?
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did, Nicholas. We'll show that in a minute, absolutely unequivocally. You silly little boy. Such. Keep pouring that sugar down your neck, though, son. That'll set you up for life. Sorry, son. No. And if it's not sugar that you've got in there, if it's artificial sweetener, that's even worse, okay? I'd knock that on the head if I was you.
Now, a little bit of backstory. I had previously written a blog.
And if I was your father, I would have knocked something else on the head, son, pretty much immediately after birth, but that's for another day.
Blog article about Tucker's conduct.
About? He wrote a blog about something, did you? Good.
During his debate with Matthew Nagra, which was atrocious, by the way. And I made an offhand comment.
That's your opinion and nobody cares, Nick.
In that blog article that I didn't think...
Well, that's not true. I must correct myself. At least 100 people are interested in what Nick has to say. What's wrong with you people, other than you are even less intelligent than Nick is?
Much of at the time. But as I started to think about it, I was like, wait a second, this is actually highly problematic.
This is actually really highly problematic. Yes, actually really highly problematic. Is it?
It's actually really highly problematic.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
Like for his view, I think this...
I think this is highly problematic.
Entails contradiction.
Well, you're wrong. Because if you actually...
Man, his content has gotten like really low level now, where he...
Says this boy, really low. Okay. Right,
Wait, turn that off. Right, that's better. fucking thing. Okay, yes, really low level, very infantile on my part, very low level stuff, says Nick Hiebert. Well, watch through this video and you'll see who's operating at what kind of level. The fact that I'm having a bit of fun doing what I'm doing and enjoying myself, Nick, is probably a good thing. Actually, it will probably increase my longevity as a YouTube influencer and or social media influencer on whatever platform I may be based in future.
He's just like making fun of accents and just like taking the piss out of me.
Just like no, it's not. That's not just what I'm doing. That's additional to presenting the information to people who are intelligent enough to see it and who are able to hear it because their ears are open and their minds are open to the fact that they might not be perfect, and you're not, Nicholas, not remotely. They're getting that information as well as a bit of entertainment, a bit of fun, something a bit different. Okay?
Like personally and shit.
And understand what Tucker is saying, you'll see there is no contradiction in what he has said whatsoever.
So we're going to go over a couple propositions that Tucker puts on the table.
Nope.
No, that you put on the table, that you propose he put on the table, he didn't.
And we're going to show how these propositions form a conclusion that is the negation of another proposition that Tucker already affirms.
Only if you completely misrepresent and or completely fail to understand what Tucker actually said and the meaning of it, which you do in this video. So sorry, son, this is not going to work for you. Well, it works for your little mates who all come in their pants and think you're ever so clever. But anyone with any actual intelligence that can look at this and see what has been said and what the meaning of it is will see exactly what the problem is with what you are attempting to do here, sunshine.
So by the end of
Yeah, there's another good comeback. Good point. Awesome.
this, Tucker will get P and not P. So let's go over.
Let's speak English, shall we, Nicholas? This ridiculous shorthand for this pseudo-logical crackpottery and nonsense that you and your little boyfriends just love so much. That is not how we communicate, either as scientists or as actual logicians. Okay? My entire life, professionally, for longer than you've been alive probably, Nicholas, has been about working with logic in a practical sense, doing actual research, actual science, actually progressing human knowledge base. Okay, what you're doing here, basically, is you're sitting in your mummy's basement having a tremendous public masturbation session. You're having a circle jerk with your little friends is what's happening here. Okay, you're not proving anything. All you're doing, well, you are. You're proving yourself to be completely inept, completely out of your depth, and you're proving yourself to be an insolent little child who does not clearly have, has not clearly had the parental input he should have had by way of discipline and respecting your betters and elders, Nicholas. Okay? It's an indictment on your parents and on yourself. You're an embarrassment to your people, your nation, and humanity at large. Okay? You are an embarrassment, son. What's next?
Over the prop.
See, this ridiculous pseudoscientific garbage that you're putting forward here, this so-called study of logic and its little abbreviations and little symbols and all this kind of stuff.
Where's the pseudoscience? Boy, we are looking at pseudoscience when we look at you. You think yourself to be a scientist. You don't qualify as a scientist's rear end, sunshine. Okay? You are totally out of your depth talking about science in any way, shape, or form, and your ridiculous pseudo-sopalistic nonsense that you and your boyfriends talk about here with this so-called language of logic that you guys use. This is not logic. This has nothing to do with logic. This is you making shit up to suit yourself, actually, without any substance. But we'll get to that in a minute.
You think actually puts you in a position of being able to understand logic is laughable, son, because you can't even understand the basic English that Tucker is using.
He's just begging
or
the
the
question.
concept that he's referring to.
Who's begging what question? No question has been begged.
So you think knowing another language makes you better than Tucker? No.
Learn English
Maybe
first.
learn English first, son.
Positions that Tucker puts on the table.
No, okay, so I'm going to pause it for a second. Please don't unpause it while I'm talking. Yeah, he's just like not engaging with the actual...
Well, if you had some patience, Nicholas, I will engage with your so-called argument when you make it, both in this original video here where I'm wearing the maroon coloured top and also today where I'm wearing the yellow coloured one. I'll do it again for you because somehow it seems that you are incapable of hearing. It seems you are incapable of accepting the criticism, which is entirely valid, which I am levelling at you here. I will make it even more clear for you today. I'll use even shorter words today, Nicholas. I know you're struggling, okay? I understand, so I'll boil it down for you and make it even easier, okay?
Inference itself, like I didn't say that it makes me better than Tucker. I'm just saying that the inference entails a conclusion that is the negation of another thing.
Except that that is false, Nicholas, because the inference that you are proposing that Tucker Goodrich has made in this video, to which you are responding, he did not make. You made up an inference to suit yourself, which is not remotely similar to what Tucker Goodrich actually said in this video, or what it meant, or what follows from it logically or otherwise. Ergo, your argument falls flat on its stupid, insolent face, just like you do, son. Okay? It's very straightforward. You made some shit up about what somebody else said to suit yourself. That will not fly. That is not acceptable behavior by a scientist or anybody else. That is childish, ridiculous, and insolent in the extreme to someone who is operating on a level vastly higher than you could ever hope to achieve. Okay?
That Tucker affirms. Like that.
He does not affirm any such thing to what you propose he affirms. We'll get to that in a minute.
That's all I'm saying. And he called it pseudoscientific. What does that even mean for logic?
Well, go and look it up in a dictionary, Nicholas. I know you struggle with big words, except for the ones that you have learned, which you can now repeatedly spew forth from your ridiculous face without actually knowing what any of it really means, or applying any of it to basic common sense or the objective reality in which we actually find ourselves here, son. That's the kind of reality where when we get up in the morning, we actually get outside mummy's basement occasionally, and we actually put some pants on, Nicholas. Unlike what you've done here today, as we'll see soon, you're still in your pajamas, son, in your mum's basement, making this exciting little video for your little boyfriends to basically to strum themselves up into a lather over, okay?
To be pseudoscientific. That seems like a category error.
No, it doesn't, Nicholas. I don't make errors, son. That's what I do. I make myself unassailable. I've been doing it longer than you've been alive. Have a crack. I know you've already had a couple of cracks, and you've failed every time. You've fallen flat on your face, as you do so again here today. I do not make mistakes in my public statements. Okay?
Like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Well, I've just explained what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how it is that you have misquoted somebody else, Tucker Goodrich. You have proposed that they have made an argument that they have not made, and then you've argued about how false that argument is. Aren't you clever? Aren't you such a brilliant boy? No, you're an idiot, Nicholas, because Tucker didn't say what you're telling your little friends here, but you think he said. Okay?
No, that you put on the table claiming he did. He didn't.
First one is about the oxidative modification of LDL
What's it about?
particles, and the second one is about the definition of an oxidized LDL particle. So let's listen.
Not really.
They made a point of getting it down, and they talked in depth in the paper about the mechanisms behind excess linoleic acid, that of oil. Just the same thing that the Leon Diet Heart Study did, although they used a low omega-6 seed oil, canola oil, or I think it was actually rapeseed oil in their study. That's the only pathway that...
Rapeseed oil and canola oil come from the same plant. They are nearly identical.
This bit is tangential. I just throw it out there. So when Nick says this is tangential, he's right. This bit is tangential. You can ignore this bit if you like.
The only difference is the exact makeup of the fatty acids in canola oil means that one of the very problematic or potentially proposed problematic fatty acids in that oil has to be below 2%.
Yeah, it's uric acid. So the uric acid content has to be below a certain
to
threshold.
be used
Yeah, 2%. I just said what it was, Nicholas.
in food related area at all. The difference ostensibly is that rapeseed oil is an industrial seed oil and canola oil is a slightly modified industrial seed oil, which is allowed to be used legally in foodstuffs and in food preparation.
Yeah, okay, so possibly interesting to people who are interested in that. Not otherwise, fine, whatever. Absolutely tangential to this argument, sure.
Okay.
But that's not really the point here.
It's described
Yeah, no kidding.
in
It's
the
not the point.
literature
You fucking
too
goofball.
hard to
Hey, don't be insolent, you rude little boy. You are out of your depth and you are addressing a senior academic with vastly more years of experience doing science and research than you've had on this planet probably. And what you're actually doing is making a fool of yourself. All right? Pull your head in. Wind your neck in, son.
disease is one that depends on oxidized linoleic acid.
Right. The hypothesis depends on oxidized linoleic acid. Good.
This is
Right. So what has Tucker Goodrich just said?
Indeed. What has he said?
He has said that there is only one remotely feasible mechanistic explanation for the initiation of atherosclerosis heart disease proposed anywhere in the literature, and it is the one that relies upon oxidized linoleic acid having a knock-on effect in the LDL that carries that linoleic acid, thus causing that linoleic acid to that LDL to itself become oxidized, and it is that which is thought to initiate the immune response known as atherosclerosis, which starts the heart disease.
Right. So, he has said there is one hypothesis in play in the scientific literature today that has not been refuted entirely. That stands. It is the hypothesis around oxidized linoleic acid oxidizing LDL through a knock-on effect, and that is thought, hypothesized, to be a requirement. That's all Tucker said there. Okay, what is Nicholas proposing that Tucker said with his little formulation here, which he has called P1? He starts out with, for all things, comma, well, no, Nicholas. Tucker Goodrich did not mention all things anywhere in that piece of the video that you've just played at all. So strike that out of there. He did not say that. He did not say for all things at all. That's complete nonsense. Okay. Nicholas also proposes that Tucker said something causes atherosclerosis if, and only if, something is able to oxidatively modify LDL particles. No, Tucker Goodrich did not say that. He said we only have one mechanistic proposed, hypothesized mechanism extant in the literature today that has not already been disproven. That's the one. That is all he said. He did not use the word cause or effect. He did not say if and only if anything. He said nothing remotely similar to P1. You made up P1 to suit yourself. To prove absolutely how wrong Tucker Goodrich is, well, you fail, Nick, because he did not say what you are proposing here in your formulation that he said. This is really straightforward, even if you are a severely intellectually disabled goldfish. And I use the term or question or qualifier if with some amusement in my own mind, if you were a retarded goldfish, tee-hee. Right, so that's where your argument falls down, Nicholas, right there. Very clear. There is me engaging with your argument, destroying your argument. For all things, no, cross that out. Something causes, no, cross that out. He didn't say cause. Atherosclerosis, if and only if, no, he didn't say if and only if either, cross that out. Something is able to oxidatively modify LDL particles. No, he didn't say that. He said we've only got one explanation currently in play. It's the one regarding oxidized linoleic acid. He did not say anything about cause or effect. We're done here. You lose, Nicholas. You have made shit up about what Tucker Goodrich said there. Okay? If you can't understand this, son, I can't help you. Or your little mates. Get your hand off it long enough to get some Q-tips into your ears and clean that muck out of your ears so that it will be careful, though, because if you dig too deep in there, Nicholas, I would suspect your skull will cave in, because that's probably just about all that there is that's in there. Okay? Right, what's next?
That's P1,
Okay.
you fucking idiot.
You rude, insolent little boy. No, it isn't. It's not remotely similar to P1. I've just pointed exactly to the flaws in your P1. Tucker Goodrich said nothing similar to what you are proposing. So, false. Boy.
Tucker
That's
is
P1.
correct.
No, it isn't. Still. Wrong.
It is the only mechanism that is
And settle down. Maybe, perhaps,
You'd like to keep your voice below the threshold of pain.
doesn't want to turn off. Now it does. Okay, I'll learn how to use this thing one day. It's my new toy. Can you tell? It's good fun. Right. I mean, we could also do all sorts of other things, like we could wait around for Nicholas to show any intelligence. I'm here all week. All right, back to the task at hand. Sorry about that.
been proposed.
So he
That
agrees.
is
No, he does not agree. If you mean me, neither does Tucker Goodrich agree with you, Nicholas, because he didn't say what you proposed that he has said, and I don't agree that that's what he said. Very clear, very straightforward. The fact that you can't hear that, can't understand that, can't grasp that, that would seem to point to some quite severe neurological damage that you may have been suffered at some point, probably soon after your birth, if not beforehand. Get a grip, son. Only get a grip on something other than what you've got one on, okay?
remotely feasible or could be correct at all. There are no other mechanisms anywhere in the literature that can explain this disease etiology.
Okay, so Bart affirms P1. What?
No, he doesn't. You fool. You silly little boy. I am explicitly refuting your P1 as being representative in any way of what was said by Tucker Goodrich in the clip you have just played. And I've given my reasons really clearly. Anybody with a modicum of understanding of basic English can see where you've made a mistake. Well, I don't think you made a mistake, Nicholas. I think with malice aforethought, you changed around what Tucker Goodrich had to say to suit yourself in order so that you could make this video so that you and your little friends could have your circle jerk. Okay? You've been called out. You've been caught out by someone who's paying attention and watching the ball. Okay? Deal with it, son. Wind your neck in, pull your head in, get your ego under control, and learn the lesson that you should learn here. Okay?
What the fuck's the problem?
The problem, Nicholas, is what I've just explained, okay? It's your inability to even conceive of your level of destitution of competence in even analysing basic English, let alone a completely different pseudo-language based around symbology, which supposedly is supposed to tell us something about logic, a topic about which you clearly know absolutely nothing. at all, son.
Did Tucker say, therefore, that it must be linoleic acid?
No, he did not, did he? Rewind this video if you want to, boys and girls. Listen to what Tucker Goodrich says word for word. They're all very simple English words that anybody can understand. He did not say anything similar to that.
That is causing the problem? No, he didn't.
That's
He did
compatible
not
with my
preclude the
fucking argument.
possibility.
No, it isn't compatible with your argument. Your argument, Nicholas, is that he said, for all things, which he didn't, something causes, which he didn't say, atherosclerosis, if and only if, which he didn't say, something is able to oxidatively modify LDL particles, which he also did not say. He said none of what you are proposing. He said your argument is not compatible with objective reality, Nicholas. That is the problem. Okay?
But what he did say, that there might be another mechanism by which atherosclerosis might develop that has not yet been...
See, now look what's going on here with Nicholas on his face here. It's incredible, isn't it? Perhaps you'll laugh inanely like a schoolgirl again. That'll put me in my place.
proposed in the literature or has not yet been elucidated or understood by anybody.
I didn't hear that.
Okay?
That's because you're not listening, Nicholas. It's clear that you're not listening because your P1 shows absolutely either that you're not listening to what Tucker Goodrich had to say, or that you don't care what he had to say and your sole purpose is to try and drag down someone who's actually operating at a level 10 times higher than you could possibly ever hope to achieve. To try and big yourself up for the amusement of at least 100 people. That's what's going on here, son, isn't it? Insolent child.
So what did he say? There is one mechanism proposed. It is the one centering around the intake of basically industrial seed oils in the diet, linoleic acid. Okay?
Right,
what
that's
he said.
compatible with P1.
No, it isn't, Nicholas. Still. Not at all. Not remotely compatible with P1. P1 is a falsehood. You have headed this up, Tucker MDA argument. Tucker did not make that argument. You are proposing that he made that argument. He didn't. You lose. Okay?
Overwhelming data, there isn't even another explanation offered.
Right, so there isn't another explanation. That doesn't mean one doesn't exist. That means we have not come across one yet that stands up to refutation. That does not preclude the possibility that one will be found that does at some point. Okay?
Right, so there isn't another explanation offered as a way of affirming what he just said. There is no other explanation that has been offered. Right? It does not preclude that another explanation might exist.
Okay.
Or that there are other factors that might impact upon, impinge upon, and moderate the effect that we're talking about. That has not been precluded by what Tucker Goodrich said there either. He made a clear, unambiguous, very easy to understand statement.
That doesn't change the fact that he affirms
Okay.
P1.
It does because he didn't affirm P1, Nicholas. He did not say for all things. That's what P1 starts out with. He didn't say that. He did not say the word cause or infer cause in any way. Atherosclerosis, if and only if, he did not make that qualifier either. Something is able to oxidatively modify LDL particles. He did not say that. He did not affirm P1 at all. Still. This is really straightforward, son.
Okay, so he affirms that there is no other explanation offered,
Correct.
and he affirms that the oxidative modification of LDL, presumably through linoleic acid, depends or rather the oxidative modification of LDL particles, presumably through linoleic acid oxidation, is sufficient for heart disease. It's a sufficiency criteria that
He didn't say that. You just said that.
No, it's entailed from what he said.
No, it's not entailed from what he said at all. No, it isn't, Nicholas. False. He said what he said. He meant what he said, and what he said is nothing similar to P1. You made up P1 to suit yourself. He did not say it.
A potential mechanistic explanation for the etiology underpinning the immune response known as
he says there's no other explanation.
Just because no other explanation is offered hitherto does not mean there isn't one. That may be discovered in future that will stand up to refutation and will look to be a reasonable mechanistic speculation in and of its own right, Nicholas. That destroys your claim that Tucker Goodrich said otherwise. He didn't. He did not preclude that possibility. He said currently, as our knowledge stands right now as of today, there isn't another mechanism. And the one hypothesis we have, hypothesis, depends upon the oxidative modification of LDL. That was the context of the word depends as Tucker used it. The hypothesis that currently stands depends upon it. He said nothing about actual causality or actual reality in the universe in which things may play out in the future. He did not say anything similar to P1. Still,
Tucker Goodrich did not say what
neither did he entail anything or imply anything. He said what he said. And he is correct in what he said, absolutely, unequivocally. He is unassailable on what he did say there. Okay?
is sufficient to cause it to occur and what isn't. He gave no level of intake that is sufficient to cause it or not, and he did not preclude the possibility that a number of other factors can moderate and have an impact on this effect. He didn't do any of those things. Okay?
Yeah.
Great comeback again there, Nicholas. Awesome. Very good. It seems to me that this is a desperate means to try and bide your time for a number of seconds until your brain can catch up with what's just been said there and how devastating it was to your ridiculous, nonsensical garbage, hoping desperately that something will spring into your mind that you can say that will actually have any impact over the fact that you have been caught out entirely.
Yeah,
Stop lying, Nicholas.
None of this interacts with
putting
P1.
words in
It does interact with P1. All of it interacts with P1, in that P1 is nothing similar remotely to what Tucker Goodrich said that you are formulating your P1 from, i.e. what he said in that clip that you played in this video. Fail, Nicholas.
Someone else's mouth to try and attempt to win points over that person and to win a debate that you're not even having with this person.
None of this poses a
By
problem
saying
for
he
P1.
said
It does. The problem with P1 is that it is fantasy, Nicholas. It is entirely a fabrication of your mind. It has no relevance to anything that Tucker Goodrich said. How much clearer can I be on this? How can you not understand that that is the engagement with what you have said to say, have had to say, your argument? Your argument fails because your argument is Tucker Goodrich said, he didn't. Still. Okay?
it's such and such when he fucking didn't say that. It's pathetic.
He's talking about because he says one depends on the other.
No, he didn't.
Yes,
say
he
that
did.
at all.
No, he didn't, Nicholas. He said the hypothesis that currently exists depends on this mechanism. And it does. The hypothesis is based on that mechanism. He did not say atherosclerosis depends on oxidation. You got that wrong, son. Completely wrong. You insolent child. You ridiculous little buffoon.
Those are actually words that he
You
used.
just-
No, they're not. I've just clarified that, son. He did not say anything remotely similar. Rewind the video again, boys and girls, and listen again. He said the hypothesis that currently stands depends on that mechanism, which it does. That's all he said.
One
said that.
depends on the other.
No, he said the hypothesis depends on the mechanism.
No,
You just added to what he said. You modified what he said to suit yourself and to suit your argument.
no, he
Ergo,
used the word
your
depends.
argument-
It doesn't matter he used the word depend. The context that he used it in, Nicholas, is what's important here. See, that's the problem. You're not listening. The hypothesis depends on the mechanism. Of course it does. The hypothesis expounds what the mechanism proposed is. That doesn't mean the actual event, the actual development of atherosclerosis in human beings in the real world is dependent on LDL being modified. It means that's the one hypothesis we've got that remains in play. That's not the same thing, is it? No, anyone with more than 3 brain cells can grasp this. That's why you can't grasp this, Nicholas. That's why you're out of your depth here. That's why you should shut your ignorant mouth and keep it shut until you learn how to A, listen to what's being said by people, and B, how to show respect for your superiors, which Tucker Goodrich is, and which I am, and which basically anyone with 4 or more brain cells, Nicholas, also is superior to you. Okay, what's next?
fails, as do you, Nicholas.
No, fucking Bart, man.
Fucking me? No, fucking you, Nick. Fucking you, Nick. I've just made this very, very clear. It's unassailable, son. The facts are there for anyone to go and look. You are wrong. Unequivocally, absolutely wrong.
He used the word depend.
Yes, we know. We've covered that.
You can go back and listen to it.
Yes, we can, and I did. Because, Nicholas, I don't make mistakes. Okay, unlike yourself. I do not make mistakes in the context of what I have to say publicly about facts, science, etc. I am unassailable. And a little boy in his pajama pants, hiding in his mummy's basement, having a circle jerk with his little friends, is not going to get anywhere near assailing me, son. And the fact that you think that you are, the delusion that you have that you think you're going to get anywhere near me, is laughable. Learn some respect, son. Learn your place in the world, son. Go and get a haircut, son. Put on some pants in the morning, son. Wow. Your parents must be proud. Right, what's next?
That's the fucking word that he used.
Yes, it is the word he used. Absolutely. And I've covered the context in which he used that word, and you've misinterpreted it to suit yourself. Haven't you, Nicholas? Yes, you have. Let's move on.
I'm not putting words in his mouth.
Yes, you are. For the exact reasons I've explained very clearly here.
You are an absolute abject failure. You are a waste of oxygen. You are a waste of skin. You are a waste of space in your mummy's basement. You are a child. You are a
Okay, show me that P1 is false.
Okay, well, did Tucker Goodrich say for all things? Still no. Did he say something that causes atherosclerosis? No, he didn't use the word cause. If and only if, did he say that? No. Something is able to oxidatively modify LDL particles. No, he didn't say that either. No part of what you are proposing Tucker Goodrich said did he in fact say. None of it. How can you not grasp this, Nicholas? You absolute child. You infant. Wow.
Like, just show me that on Tucker's view P1 is false. You haven't done that.
I have. There it is. Again for you. I said it in this video, the original one, and I'm saying it again today. He did not say what you are proposing he said. Ergo, P1 fails. as does your entire argument. Okay?
Not yet.
Pathetic, argumentative child, and you are a pathetic, argumentative child who does not know what he's talking about.
Get some more sugar down your neck, though, son.
Okay?
So it's a sufficiency criteria that he's talking about.
No, it's not a sufficiency criteria at all.
Yes,
He
it
said
is.
there is
No, it still isn't, Nicholas. Saying it is doesn't make it so. He did not say what was sufficient for what. At all. He didn't mention sufficiency. Any more than he said for all things, or causes, or if and only if, or mention any requirement for anything to cause anything else. No, Nicholas. Wrong. False. Fantasy.
no other explanation that has been proposed.
Well,
That's all he said.
That
and he's
doesn't mean it's
correct.
the only sufficiency criteria.
So in this
He's just
second video,
so confused.
we're going to
Nicholas thinks I'm the one that's confused here. This is the kind of Dunning-Kruger I'm talking about. This is the level of destitution of understanding of objective reality that we're talking about here. This is a little boy sitting in his mummy's basement in his pajama pants, accusing a senior academic of more years than he's probably been alive, a professor of health science, of being confused. Am I the only one that finds that wildly amusing? I know I'm not. Do make your comments underneath the video. Tell me how wildly amusing that is and how destitute Nicholas is, you think. Or if I'm wrong, if you think I'm wrong in some way here, please point to it. We'll wait. We actually won't wait. We've got other things to do.
see him affirm a different proposition.
So,
Right?
So it's going to
only
form
you're probably going to
P2.
get that wrong too, because you got the first one wrong about what he actually did say, Nicholas.
You actually
Definition
haven't
of an
rejected
oxidized
P1 yet.
LDL.
I have rejected P1 absolutely outright, completely on every single tenet of P1, because it is not remotely similar to anything Tucker Goodrich had to say on any topic at any time on the video that you are using to establish for proof purposes that he did say that. Anyone who has rewound this video and listened to it any number of times will agree with me and will not agree with you, Nicholas, unless they do not understand basic common English. There is no way for you to escape from the fact that you have been caught out. You have been called out. You have been absolutely decimated and destroyed at every single foundation stone of your ridiculous argument. You lose.
The definition is an LDL with MDA. That's the test that we use.
Right. So what he's talking about there is the operational definition in laboratories
That's
of how
fine.
we determine the level of oxidative distress that has occurred. That
That's
is done
fine.
using the concentration of MDA, which is a primary oxidation product
Yep.
of the linoleic and similar acids.
Yep. All of that's compatible with P2.
Okay.
No, it isn't. It isn't at all. Because your P2 makes a cause and effect statement. It says MDA is able to oxidatively modify LDL particles. There is strong inference that that is correct, but there's no actual proof in free-living human beings that we see that. It hasn't been traced through mechanistically. But anyway, it doesn't matter. P2 is very much irrelevant to the failure of your argument, Nicholas, because you're suggesting that there is a contradiction between things that Tucker Goodrich has had to say in this video. This is the proof you're putting forward, things that he's saying in this video. And he hasn't contradicted himself in the two clips that you have played in this video at all. Let's move on.
Cool. That is how oxidative distress is gauged, is assessed, how some
This is tangential.
measurement of how
It really isn't. Well, it is and it isn't.
bad the problem is likely to be in any given individual is or is not.
This is tangential.
Fine,
It really isn't so much, Nicholas. What's tangential is your continued existence in the universe, son. Tangential to what would be useful to humanity in any way.
Right? Those two aldehydes define an LDL. So
Right, is used operationally to define an LDL that is oxidized.
Yeah, that's compatible with P2, bud.
So what? P2 is irrelevant to your argument because your argument fails at P1 completely.
What did Tucker not say there? He did not say there is no other form of oxidation that can occur in an LDL molecule, or that there is no other way to oxidize an LDL molecule.
Well,
He said this is the
irrelevant.
method that
So what? So is P2 to anything because your argument has already failed at P1.
that is used to measure it, because we don't have another one that's very good.
That's irrelevant, Bart.
No, it really isn't, Nicholas.
Okay? The problem here, Nicholas, is you don't understand what he is saying, and you are desperately trying to
Could come. See, there's that comeback again. There it is again. Hmm.
believe, or wanting to believe, that he has said something he has not said in order to make an argument that does not run contrary to anything Tucker actually said.
So I'm just going to pause this for a second. Please don't unpause it while I'm talking, because I am recording a video right now. So
Yeah, for 100 people to watch.
Tucker has also said in the past that the MDA bound.
That's irrelevant to this video, Nicholas. You are producing evidence, so you say, in this video, so you say, that Tucker Goodrich in some way has contradicted himself in some way. He hasn't in this video at all. So everything that's going to come out of your mouth next absolutely is irrelevant. And let's go back to the fact that your argument fails at P1. Okay?
Bound to the surface of the ApoB containing lipoproteins is the actual mechanism by which those LDL particles are recognized by the macrophages that will engulf them and become foam cells.
Well, that might well be so, Nicholas, but that's irrelevant.
He has affirmed this in the past.
So what? You haven't provided any evidence that he's affirmed that. And frankly, son, given your failure to correctly analyze and communicate to us what you believe Tucker Goodrich affirms in P1 here, that shows that you are unable to actually accurately report what was said by whom and when. And so why the hell would we believe you that that's what Tucker Goodrich has said in the past? Why on earth would we believe you on that? You've shown us in this video that you are unable to accurately report what was said. So, fail again. Sorry about that.
Not only is he defining LDL particles as, or oxidized LDL particles as LDL
That's not his definition. That's how it is done.
particles that are MDA modified, he's actually saying that this is the mechanism by which
Not in this video, he's not. And so therefore it's irrelevant to your argument made on the basis of this video. And so what? Because your argument has failed at P1. Okay?
atherosclerosis occurs, right? I didn't actually go over those quotes in the video, but
Right, so therefore your argument fails on every level. Number one, your P1 fails. Number two, your P2 is basically an irrelevancy. Now you're going to get to P3 at some point soon, hopefully, which is also a failure. And we'll get to that when you get to it.
Tucker does affirm this. So taking those on board, this is not a challenge for the actual inference itself. You're just confused.
No, I'm not confused. Still, Nicholas. I am still absolutely unconfused. I am well and truly capable of keeping up with you and running rings around you any day of the week and twice on Sundays. I'm confused. Good.
Well, that seems like a contradiction.
No, it doesn't. Not
Yep.
at all.
But
yeah,
anyway,
wait. No, I got to stop this again. Yeah, that is a contradiction.
No, it still isn't, Nicholas. Just saying it is doesn't make it one. It isn't. Okay, let's move on.
So he said, it's a minor point, and I didn't
So why bother? At all. You don't have any point, Nicholas. You are pointless. I think I've made that clear anyway.
press it because I think that Tucker just misspoke. He said that the definition of an oxidized LDL particle was an oxidized particle, or the definition of an oxidized LDL particle was an LDL particle with MDA. But then he said that two aldehydes, 4-HNE and MDA, both define an oxidized LDL.
Yeah, well, Nicholas, if you actually understood any chemistry at all, you would understand what the relationship between those two things are. Go and look it up some, okay? This is completely irrelevant. This is not even tangential. It's just utterly irrelevant.
LDL particle. That is what forms the contradiction.
Fine, but it's irrelevant.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But
Fine, but it's irrelevant.
I thought that Tucker just maybe misspoke, so I didn't press it. It was a minor point.
Right, so it's irrelevant. Let's move on.
Confirms that an MDA modified LDL is the definition.
Yes, the operational definition, that is how it is measured. That doesn't mean that there is no other way to oxidize.
That's
Come at this,
compatible with
really.
P2.
Of an
So what? P2 is irrelevant.
oxidized LDL.
P2 contains no value, especially considering P1 has failed completely.
So
So,
here we formalize these two propositions into a set of premises.
so you're changing something that Tucker Goodrich did not say in English into some completely other language, which he also did not say.
That's irrelevant.
No, it isn't. Because your argument is that Tucker Goodrich said. My argument is, no, he didn't. And I'm correct and you are not correct, Nicholas, in that. Anybody who wants to rewind this video any number of times and check what Tucker Goodrich did say, they will agree with me that at no point did he say for all things or mention all things. At no point did he use the word cause or infer cause in any way. Neither did he say that oxidation of LDL particles is required for atherosclerosis to occur. Ergo, P1 fails. It is not a representation of what Tucker Goodrich said. Ergo, P2 is irrelevant completely. Can we get to P3 perhaps?
In order to attempt to win points in an argument that Tucker has not entered into with you and is not here to defend himself on.
We're talking about entailments, whether or not
What are you talking about?
the wording is exactly the same.
No, you're talking about what you think entails what, and I've already shown very clearly how you've got that completely and utterly wrong. Neither did Tucker Goodrich say anything you propose he said, neither did he imply it. There is no entailment. He said what he said, and he is correct absolutely and unassailable absolutely on what he said. And you are not, Nicholas, because you have fabricated something completely different to what he said to suit yourself. Still.
Is irrelevant. We're talking about entailments here.
What are we talking about?
Did you invite him to speak to you about this?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not surprised he wouldn't bother speaking to you, Nicholas. I'm not surprised at all, because you are an insolent child. Without the first clue of what you are talking about, you are nothing but an argumentative little brat who badly, badly needs his bottom tanned. I would suggest that there's a lack of parental input there, okay? Or has been throughout your developmental years. You're an embarrassment to your family.
Yes, I have.
Invited you to have a discussion with me, Nick, about pretty much anything you want to.
That's irrelevant.
No, it isn't. It points to your cowardice. It points to your absolute stunning cowardice. Not only do you have to lie about what others have said to try and win points for yourself, you don't have the courage to come and defend yourself against someone like me who will tear you to pieces, and you know it.
Actually, just define the moot, really. And, the debate is on, but you don't have the courage to face me for a debate.
I accepted the debate invitation.
Well, why hasn't it happened then, Nicholas? Why hasn't it happened then? Because you got upset when I said I will not allow you to engage in sophistry and pseudo-solipsism. I said to you, if you want to bring me some evidence of something that you believe to be so scientifically as regards, let's say, for example, heart disease, just for fun, or some aspect of human dietary ways of eating, then you bring no more than 3 papers to a debate that you think establish the moot that you're going to propose, and I will, using the very same papers that you propose, those 3, go through those papers with you in detail and show you how it is that your understanding of science is so very destitute that you've been fooled. You and all your little friends. And you didn't want to do that. What you want to do is bring as many references as you like to the table and just cite them as the title of a paper and not analyse any of them for veracity, correctness, and scientific goodness of fit to your argument. Well, that's pointless. That's sophistry. Not interested. You lack the courage to actually foot it with me in a debate about science, Nicholas. And it's no surprise, you're completely out of your depth. The analogy that is used often on my channel is I'm Mike Tyson in that regard, and you're a 6-year-old girl. If boxing was the analogy that we were going to use for a debate. You have no business arguing with me on any topic. You will lose. That is why you haven't done it. Okay? Stop lying.
You're just a fucking idiot.
You are a rude, arrogant, ignorant Dunning-Kruger sufferer, and you're a little boy who is completely out of his depth. You are an insolent child. You are a pathetic cockstain. You are a skid mark on the underwear of life. You are a waste of everybody's time and energy, Nicholas. You will amount in your life to nothing until you get your ego under control and learn your place. You will not learn a damn thing until you clean out your ears and open your mind to the fact, the sad fact, that you are deeply, deeply flawed. Okay, drop the arrogance, drop the attitude. What you really need, as I've said repeatedly in this video alone, what you need is a good to learn some goddamn respect. Okay?
It's incredible, isn't it, boys and girls? All right, so what are you proposing Tucker has said when he hasn't said that?
So P1,
I'm proposing there are entailments from what he uttered.
You're wrong. There aren't. What he uttered is what he uttered. What he said is what he said. What he meant is what is entailed in what he actually said, Nicholas. You making up some inference on it on the basis of it to suit yourself based on stuff he did not say will not work for you, will not hold any water. He didn't say it. It was not even implied. You have taken what he said completely too far to suit yourself. That was your error, not his.
And I formalized those entailments into a fucking syllogism, you clown.
No, you silly little boy. You made some shit up to suit yourself, and you've been called out by a scientist to show absolutely that he said no such thing. Shall we go through it again? Did he say for all things? No. Did he say causes something else? No. Did he say if and only if? No. P1 fails. Completely. And you fail. Completely.
for all things,
He didn't say for all things. You said that.
something is sufficient.
I could remove the universal quantification and it wouldn't pose a challenge for the fucking argument.
Yes, it does, because the rest of the argument falls over too. Just remove everything he didn't say, and you're left with nothing. P1 is eviscerated. There is nothing in there that he said. This is really easy to understand, isn't it?
Argument would still go through. I
It
just
wouldn't, because he didn't say any of those things.
have to change the structure a little bit.
No, you'd have to change the structure to something that he said. The way to do that is to quote him verbatim. Have you done that? No? Well, off you pop to fuck then. Because he didn't say that. You did. That's your formulation. Your argument is that he is in error somehow. He's not. You are. Sorry.
To cause atherosclerosis.
You said sufficient. He didn't say sufficient.
I actually corrected this. It's in the comments.
Yeah, but you haven't corrected it here. To correct it, you have to remove P1 from your argument altogether, which eviscerates your argument from the ground up, because you've got nothing left. You've got P2, which is irrelevant, and you've got P3, which we haven't even got to yet, which is also a fail, by the way, which we will get to when you start talking about P3.
Of that video, I actually did issue a correction. You could just remove sufficient and just say causes.
All right, so let's remove for all things, and let's remove sufficient. But no, we have to remove causes too, Nicholas, because he didn't say anything about cause and effect. You did.
For P1, and it's still perfectly fine.
No, it still isn't, because now we've got for all things removed, and we've got causes removed, which means there's nothing left. There's nothing to talk about, because the third part of that sentence is about if and only if, which he also didn't say. Sorry.
Perfectly valid.
But still isn't perfectly valid. It's perfectly a failure on all three tenets. All things, causes, and if and only if. All fail. He didn't say any of those things. You did. You claim he did.
At all. He said nothing remotely similar to that, Nicholas.
It's entailed, you fucking clown.
It's not, you insolent, rude little boy. No, it isn't. He said what he said. There is no entailment. That's your formulation, and it's childish. It's pathetic, it's desperate, and it's destitute of engagement with objective reality in any way, shape, or form. It's you trying to win points and failing. The only thing you're achieving to do here, Nicholas, is to make a fool of yourself. An absolute fool of yourself.
He said there's only one remotely feasible mechanism that has been proposed to cause atherosclerosis. He said nothing similar to what you are proposing, he said here.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't. Still. Shall we go over it again? We won't. Wow, this isn't difficult to grasp.
This ridiculous fucking statement up on the board here. At all. Sorry about that.
Sclerosis if and only if something is necessary to oxidatively modify LDL particles.
No, he didn't say that.
So I also issued a correction here. You can replace the word necessary with able, and it doesn't pose a problem for the overall conclusion.
Yes, it does, because your overall conclusion is based in P1, and P1 fails on all three tenets. P2 is therefore irrelevant to anything whatsoever, and P3 establishes nothing because of all of that. P3 saying if MDA causes atherosclerosis, which nobody said, in the two statements made here in this video that you are basing as evidence for your ridiculous argument, Nicholas, then all MDA producing fatty acids are atherogenic. No, fail again. Atherogenic is a cause and effect statement, and it refers to the causation of the genesis of a disease process, which makes concentrations relevant, because it's the dose that makes the poison, isn't it? Yep. Okay.
You said that. That's nothing remotely similar to anything he said. So we're done here. You're an idiot.
P2, MDA is necessary to oxidatively modify LDL particles.
Nobody said that. No, he didn't say that either.
He didn't say that either. He said we've only...
He said the definition of an oxidized LDL particle is one with MDA.
That's not the same thing, is it, Nicholas? That is a different statement. You see how that's different? If you can't, I can't help you, son. They're not the same statement.
So what does it mean for there to be an oxidized LDL particle without MDA? Like, the fuck are you talking about?
Well, the fact that you can't grasp that very simple concept, Nicholas, again, just points to your destitution of understanding of anything at all. You're just making a fool of yourself.
You got one really good way of measuring oxidation and gauging it and estimating what it is in total, and that's using MDA. He didn't say there's no other way to do it. You said that. Wrong again. So both your premises are false, Nick.
What the fuck are premises?
Go and look in the fucking dictionary, Nicholas, and you'll see the word.
Completely false. Neither one is anything Tucker said. Sorry about that.
Good comeback. There's me put in my place again. See how that works, boys and girls? That's how you put me in my place.
So he affirms P1.
No, he didn't.
No, he doesn't. You proposed that he said P1.
Yes,
he didn't say that.
Yes,
No, he doesn't still, Nicholas. Shall we go over it again? He did not say P1.
He said it. We all heard him say it.
He didn't
No, we didn't hear him say anything similar.
say anything remotely similar to what is on the board, Nicholas. We all heard
Oh
what
my
he did
God.
say.
That's just
And I've repeated
confusion.
it about
Yes, I can. Yeah, we can see who's confused, Nicholas. We can all see who is confused. It's very straightforward.
3 times in
Please leave your comments under the video here. Let me know which one of us is confused.
this video already to really make the point about what he did, in fact,
There we go. There he is in his jammy pants. Wow.
say.
Right? There's no other explanation on offer.
That's right. That's what he said.
These two things are logically equivalent.
No, they're not.
No, they're not. Not remotely similar. You ridiculous
There I am put in my place again.
buffoon. You silly little boy. No, they're not.
Something is sufficient to cause
He didn't say sufficient. You did.
atherosclerosis if and only if something
It's entailed from what he said.
No, it isn't. Still.
Bart.
No, it still isn't.
He didn't say if and only if. He said only one explanation has hitherto been.
No, he used the word depends.
Yeah, we've covered that already, Nicholas. Still wrong, son.
He used the word depends.
Yes, saying it twice, 3 times, 4 times in the videos doesn't make it any more correct. You have misinterpreted what he said. Again.
He said that the oxidative modification of LDL particles depends on the oxidation of linoleic acid.
No, he didn't say that. He said the hypothesis around the atherogenicity, so-called, or proposed, depends upon this relationship, which is correct.
That's what he said. And he was specifically speaking about LDL particles there.
Yeah, no, that's not what he said, Nicholas. You've got that wrong. And it doesn't matter because he did not say P1 and P2 is irrelevant. Neither did he say P3.
The way that I structured the sentence is perfectly compatible with what Tucker put on the table.
No, it isn't, Nicholas. That's the whole point here. Your failure to formulate your P1, P2, and P3 in line with reality, in line with what was said, that is the problem. Okay? Very straightforward. Still.
Being proposed. Remember?
is necessary to oxidatively modify LDL particles. This
No, he didn't say that either. You said that.
is something that he affirms.
No, he doesn't. You are stating he affirms that. He did not affirm that.
P2 is also something that he affirms.
No, it isn't. He didn't.
I think he actually does affirm P2.
Not in this video. He didn't. No.
What the fuck is Bart talking about?
I'm talking about facts, objective reality, a place you've never been, Nicholas. Come and join us sometime. Actually, don't, son. To be honest, you're not invited.
He literally said it.
No, he literally did not in this video, and that's what I'm responding to.
Anything remotely similar to what you are proposing, he affirms. No, he didn't.
MDA is necessary to oxidatively modify LDL particles.
He did not say that. Not at all.
He says this.
No, he doesn't, Nicholas, you fucking lying little... No, he doesn't.
Jesus Christ, dude.
So let's look at P3.
Don't call me dude, son. You may call me Field Marshal, Professor Lord, Sir. How dare you?
Why? P1 and P2 are both false statements. They are both lies, Nicholas.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. for the reasons I have made very, very patent here.
They are both based in your fantasy world. Sorry about that.
Notice how he actually hasn't explained how P1 and P2 are not entailed from what Tucker said. He just...
Yes, I have. There are no entailments. What Tucker said is what he said. The words he used are the words he used. If you want to attack what he said, then use his statement verbatim to do so. You have had to formulate your own version of what you want him to have said in order for your argument to stand. Ergo, your argument is vacuous, vapid, and a waste of everybody's time, because he did not fucking say that. You claim he said it, he didn't.
just keeps on affirming that they're not over and over and over and over and over again.
Because he did not say that. This is really easy to understand. Please comment below that I'm not mad here.
He hasn't actually explained what the problem is here.
Nicholas, it seems that you're unable to have anything explained to you, like how to get a haircut or how to put on pants in the morning, for example. These seem to be things that are beyond you. So grasping concepts that are above that level, well, it's no surprise that you're really, really struggling and behind the eight ball here. None at all.
And in fact, in the beginning of the video, it sounded very much like he was affirming P1.
No, he wasn't. See, we've covered this.
And with P2, we can just change the word necessary to the word able.
Makes no difference. It's still irrelevant, isn't it? Because Tucker didn't say P1. So P2 is a waste of time, and so is P3.
And it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly compatible in either case with what Tucker said.
No, it isn't. Still.
If MDA is sufficient to cause atherosclerosis, then all MDA
Means nothing.
producing fatty acids are atherogenic.
No, again, that falls flat on its face too, because it's the dose that makes the poison, Nicholas.
If you don't already know, Grammarly is an online tool that can help you with any writing you do in your day-to-day life. The free version...
We do know.
That's irrelevant.
No, it absolutely isn't. You silly little boy. How can that possibly be irrelevant? Wow. Atherogenicity refers to a cause and effect relationship. So it's entirely inappropriate right from that basis alone. But let's just for fun accept that MDA can cause atherosclerosis to occur. Just for fun. Is a tiny, minuscule, micromolar concentration of MDA as likely to cause atherosclerosis as a massive, great whacking dose of it? No. It is relevant, you silly, little, insolent, childlike buffoon. Goodness me.
Okay? Look at the amount of omega-6 that is being taken in versus the amount of omega-3 that is being taken in.
This is completely tangential.
No, it isn't. It's absolutely relevant to the point. The problem here, Nicholas, as usual, is you are unable to listen to a point to its conclusion to see its validity. That's your problem. You are unable to grasp reality, or logic, or science, or common sense, or how to get cut and put on some pants.
The argument.
And you'll see what the problem is with your logically inconsistent ramble hearers. You silly boy.
Wait. So wait, what's the defeater for P3?
That it is totally irrelevant to anything, that it uses the word cause, which Tucker did not use, and it makes the implication that Tucker should now accept that any amount of MDA will have the exact same atherogenicity, which it is false. It fails completely on every tenant, just as does P1. So P1 fails on all 3 tenants, P2 is irrelevant totally, and P3 fails on cause and fails on atherogenetic, which is also a cause and effect statement. The fact that it also fails to qualify itself on the basis of the dose making the poison is a third refutation to P3 being anything that Tucker would need to accept, because he needs to do no such thing.
I didn't actually hear a defeater for P3 right
That's
there.
because you weren't fucking listening, Nicholas. That's why you didn't hear it, because you are incapable of hearing anything except what you want to hear. That's the problem. Dunning-Kruger, confirmation bias, stunning arrogance, ignorance beyond belief, and an infantile view of the world. Simple.
There. Like, I didn't actually hear him say anything that negated P3.
That's because you weren't listening.
You pathetic, infantile little...
Right? Because if we look at alpha-linolenic acid and linoleic acid, the production of MDA is not a differential property between them.
On a molar concentration basis, correct.
Yeah, that's what Tucker bases the argument on.
No, he doesn't.
So that's compatible with what Tucker says.
No, it isn't. And giggling away like a prepubescent schoolgirl again doesn't change any of those facts either, Nicholas.
But show me a person who doesn't have a 6-to-3 ratio on a standard diet that is like 20 and 30.
That's irrelevant. I'm arguing.
No, it isn't. Still, Nicholas.
The internal critique is assuming, or not assuming, but
the internal critique is assuming that Tucker Goodrich has said what you propose he has said in P1, which he did not and has not. Ergo, it fails. P2 becomes completely irrelevant immediately from that point forward, and he need not accept P3, because it too is false. Is this hard to understand? Please do comment underneath and make it clear to me whether or not this is difficult to understand, because I don't think it is. I know I have an intellect, but as I suppose do most of my supporters. But no, please do let me know whether or not I'm the only one that gets this logical thematic thread here.
It's showing that on Tucker's view, they're both
You don't know what Tucker's view is clearly, because you've badly, totally, utterly misrepresented it to suit yourself. Fail.
The ratio between the two is just going to show a difference in atherogenicity. It's not going to show that one is anti-atherogenic versus one being pro-atherogenic, right? We're dealing with 2 atherogenic fatty acids.
No, we're not, because there is no evidence to support that claim extant anywhere in the literature. Atherogenic is a cause and effect statement. Do you have any experiments, Nicholas? No? Off you pop to fuck then.
That's my fucking point.
Your fucking point, before you insult me again, you insolent child, your point is nothing. You have no point to make here. Your argument has failed. Totally, utterly, in the worst and most destitute fashion possible. You have no leverage on reality here at all. None.
You fucking clown.
Yeah, we know who the clown is, Nicholas. It's really clear.
E times the 6 of the 3. This is fucking pathetic, isn't it, boys and girls?
I'm sorry. I didn't hear a rejection of P3 that made...
That's because you are incapable of hearing that which you do not want to hear, Nicholas. That which is based in reality and actual logic and common sense. That's what the problem is. Nothing else, just that.
Sense. I'm sorry.
The problem is not that I haven't refuted you, Nicholas. The problem is you are unable to hear it. You child. Again, you need hard. You need some sense put into you.
Sorry. I didn't hear a defeater for P3.
That's because you're incapable of hearing it, son.
Can you try again?
Well, watch this video. I suspect you won't hear it again.
Both produce it. In fact, if we look at this publication here,
Why would we? Nobody's arguing any different, Nicholas. They do both produce it, yes.
Okay, that's fine.
we can see that when you compare linoleic acid to alpha-linolenic acid, alpha-linolenic acid actually produces about an order of magnitude more MDA as a molar ratio of modified polyunsaturated fats to MDA.
Pardon? No, false. Because we've seen, of course, we have already seen your ability to get orders of magnitude wrong just yesterday in a video I did on you live, didn't we? You can't.
Wait a second. Is 5 not one order of magnitude larger than 0.5?
Well, yes, but that's an average value, isn't it? What's the signal to noise ratio on that outcome, Nicholas? Ergo, what is the veracity and statistical power of that finding, Nicholas? Again, it's about getting into and analysing works to see whether they do indeed say what they propose that they say. You'll find in this case they don't. I just didn't have time to get into it when I was doing my other video the other day. The fact that you are unable to make this assessment of the statistical inference made in the paper that you now have up on the screen, again, just points to your destitution, son. Okay, the fact that you have absolutely no inkling even of what my argument is, because it's so far beyond you, that's what we're talking about here. That's why you're out of your depth. Okay?
Tell the difference between 10% and 1,000%. Nicholas, you got that wrong.
What the fuck is he talking about?
Well, watch the video that I made on you the other day, Nicholas, and you'll see. You'll see where you got that wrong. Well, you probably won't because you can't do basic counting.
Goodness me. 30% and 300%. You couldn't get that one right either. Incredible.
I don't know what the fuck he's
produced.
talking about.
That's because you haven't watched the video that points it out, Nicholas. And or you are incapable of hearing about your own flaws, faults, and foibles, son.
It's about an order of magnitude more MDA produced with this omega-3 fatty acid.
You've just said that and it's still wrong.
It's right there on the paper. Like it's right there on the paper, Bart.
Yes, and I've covered now very clearly and explicitly what the problem with that assertion is. Signal to noise ratio. Veracity of the finding, statistical power of the finding. It doesn't work, son. Okay?
And there's over an order of magnitude.
I didn't read it, he says. Okay. How do I know then about what the statistical inference made by that paper and the quality of that statistical inference is? As a professor of, among other things, pure and applied statistical inference, Nicholas. But no, you're right. I'm confused, of course. Of course I am.
More MDA produced with docosahexaenoic acid. So
just for fun, let's say that there was good signal to noise ratio and those average figures given by this paper were valid, just for fun. And let's say the difference was 5 versus 0.5. Okay. So that's an order of magnitude or 10 times over. Okay. Show me a person eating a standard diet who has an omega-6 to omega-3 ratio as low as 10 to 1. Whoops, they're 30 and sometimes above to 1. So is omega-3 likely to be as problematic, assuming that the MDA issue is causal to atherosclerosis and the dose does make the poison, which is obvious and makes perfect sense, making all of those assumptions, then omega-6 is still more of a problem than omega-3 for the vast majority of people in society, isn't it, Nick? Whoopsie daisy. Right, shall we move on?
And that's DHA, by the way. So basically, the more double bond.
Wrong again as well, by the way, on your mathematics there, son, but whatever.
And you have along the carbon chain, the more likely it is that you will get more MDA. So the more unsaturated a poly...
Is it 25 or 30 times worse?
No, it's 10 if we accept your numbers, which we don't. Whoops.
Nick, is it? No? We're done here then.
What?
See, look, again, he does not remotely grasp the logic here, the mathematics here, what the argument even could possibly be. He's completely out of his fucking depth. It's incredible that this boy thinks himself for any reason to be remotely competent to even engage in trying to argue against anything I have had to say on any topic. It is laughable, ridiculous, and disrespectful in the extreme, Nicholas. You silly little boy.
What the hell is he talking about?
Exactly. You have no idea.
Aren't we? Because that's the typical ratio in the Western diet. 25 or 30 times as much omega-6 as omega-3 that's being taken in.
This is all tangential
No, it isn't. Still.
to the inference.
No, it isn't still.
Idiot.
polyunsaturated fatty acid is, the
More sugar, though. Get some more sugar in to keep that brain misfunctioning, misfiring.
more atherogenic it should be. So let's...
No.
No, like
To underpin
no, this oh my god, okay, whatever. This is just confusion on his part. Like,
No, it really isn't still, Nicholas. Again, it's really absolutely clear and patent to anybody watching which one of us is confused.
he doesn't understand what I'm saying.
claim
Oh dear. Oh dear, I don't understand, of course. That's the problem here.
of atherogenesis, you need to supply an experiment that underpins that claim of cause and effect.
That's on Tucker, actually, not
No, it's not, Nicholas. Nothing's on Tucker here. Nothing you have had to say in this video or the one before it is on Tucker. This is all stuff you have fabricated, stuff you have made up. And I am pointing to the flaws in your formulation. It's on you.
me. What I'm doing is an internal critique of Tucker's view.
No, you're not, because it's not similar to Tucker's view. You have misrepresented Tucker's view. Or at least you have misrepresented what he has said, what he has had to say in this video about what his view is, which is what I am responding to. Your response to this video, wherein you have failed utterly to make your point or to prevail with any argument that will hold at all.
It's not on me to show that evidence. It's on Tucker.
Yes, it is, because you've made the assertion. He didn't. You made the assertion right there. Causes atherosclerosis, it says. And atherogenic, it says. They are both cause and effect statements. You formulated them. You are suggesting that Tucker must accept that P3 is true or that P1 is true, which he must do no such thing. And I am pointing out what the flaws are in P1, P2, and P3 independently, irrespective of who did or did not say them. I'm providing the full education. That's what I'm doing here, Nicholas. You just don't understand what I'm saying. Projection, isn't it?
Because it's entailed from his view. You
No, it isn't, you insolent, rude little boy. Still no. Not at all.
fucking moron.
We know who the moron is, Nicholas. It's really clear.
Atherogenesis is a cause and effect statement, Nicholas. There is no experiment.
Well, there I am, back in my place again. Bloody thing. Right.
To underpin such a
Does
claim.
he think that this
What
is
we
my
have
view?
is a hypothesis.
No, I don't think that's your view. I don't think you have a valid view on anything, Nicholas. You are a complete waste of skin.
Around the etiology of atherogenesis, and it's around the oxidative modification of LDL via an interaction with oxidized omega-6, largely fatty acids, polyunsaturated fatty acids.
What does this have to do with anything?
That's a
Well, pay attention, son, and you'll know what it has to do with what we're talking about.
hypothesis. It's a pretty good one. It's the only one that is even possible. It's the only one that stands up to refutation.
Oh, wait. It's the only hypothesis that's possible?
From the ones that are on offer currently. It doesn't mean that another one may not be proposed in future, which pans out well. Context, Nicholas. Context.
That's just affirming P1.
No, it fucking isn't, you silly little boy. No.
You fucking goofball?
No, it isn't, you rude little child. Not at all, still.
As in terms of a mechanistic speculation thus far.
There you go. See, if you'd waited till the end of the sentence, you'd have seen what the caveats on it were, and you'd have seen that your statement was completely vapid again.
So he says that it's the only hypothesis that's possible.
No, I didn't say that. I said it's the only thing that's possible from the hypotheses that currently exist. All the other ones have been refuted mechanistically. Okay?
That's just affirming P1.
No, it still isn't, Nicholas. No.
It sounds like he's actually granting it now.
No, I'm not. Not at all. Ridiculous child.
That's what Tucker said, by the way. Not what you claim he said. Okay? Pointless.
There we go again. Wow, you've won many, many points by chuckling like an inane little schoolgirl today, haven't you, Nicholas? Many indeed.
Ridiculous nonsense from you here, son.
Let's go back to the syllogism here.
Or we could stick to facts, what Tucker Goodrich did and did not say.
There I am again, right back in my box. Whew, he's really giving me a on this, isn't he?
Logic, which has got nothing to do with this syllogistic garbage that you have up on the board here, you and your sophist followers that think this is ever so clever. It's fucking garbage. You can't even get the facts straight on what it is that has been proposed or affirmed.
Notice how at no point in time does he actually interact with the argument itself. He just...
I have done very clearly, Nicholas. You are incapable of hearing it, as I've said, clearly. Still.
keeps on asserting that it's false over...
Because it is false, demonstrably. Did Tucker say for all things? No. Did he say cause and effect on atherosclerosis at any time? No. Did he say if and only if? No. He did not say P1. Okay. Is P2 relevant? MDA is able to oxidatively modify LDL particles? No. Not really. And it's irrelevant, even if that were true. And P3 says if MDA causes atherosclerosis, which Tucker did not say, then all MDA producing fatty acids are atherogenic, which he also did not say, and neither must he accept that as true because it's the dose that makes the poison. So P1 fails on all three tenets. P2 is irrelevant, and P3 fails on both parts. Fuck me, this isn't hard, is it?
And over and over and over again.
There we go. Over and over and over again. In this video alone, I have shown you exactly where all three of your P's, P1, 2, and 3, fail. Nicholas.
Tucker Goodrich, or by anybody else, Nicholas. You've got that all wrong. This is worthless. You are wasting our time, as usual.
So this forms a conclusion that omega-3s are atherogenic.
It does no such thing, because...
It literally does.
No, it literally doesn't, for the reasons I've outlined. There is no evidence of cause and effect anywhere in the literature whatsoever. It's an inference. And even if it were true, it is perfectly reasonable to understand, even if you are a demented goldfish, that the dose makes the poison. Fuck me.
Bart, it literally does.
No, it still literally doesn't. Wrong again. Still, Nicholas.
I can show you with a fucking proof tree.
Oh, well, I'm convinced then. A tree of some kind. No, idiot. Fuck's sake.
That it does.
No, it doesn't. No such thing is true.
Fucking idiot.
No, we know who the idiot is here, Nicholas. It's really, really clear who the idiot is here.
To form a conclusion that omega-3s are atherogenic, you need an experiment in the same way you need it for omega-6.
It's an internal critique, you fucking idiot.
You've said that, and it has no bearing on what I'm saying right now. You rude, disrespectful little boy. You silly little boy. You ignorant, arrogant little stain.
It doesn't exist for either, ergo...
I'm not affirming that the conclusion is true, you fucking moron. It's
Nobody said you were affirming that, you rude little boy. You made the P, you formulated the P. Whether or not you believe it to be true is irrelevant here. I am pointing out the flaws in it and the irrelevance of it to any argument about anything Tucker Goodrich had to say in this video. Boy.
an internal critique. You've
said that. It's still irrelevant.
So lost.
No, I am not lost at all. No.
Like so lost.
No, not at all. Still.
There is no ability to make such a conclusion because such things are litigated empirically using experimental scientific procedure, Nicholas, not some ridiculous syllogism up on a board. That is false from...
Wait, is he making the claim that science does not rely on inferential justification?
Again, there's you saying or suggesting that I'm saying something I did not say anything remotely similar to at any time, ever. Again, not acceptable, Nicholas. This is the tactic of these turds, to put words into other people's mouths and to suggest they have said things they have not said. Grow up.
What the fuck is the argument for that?
Well, I don't need an argument for that because I didn't say it.
Like, that's just...
I'm so clever. No, you're not. You're a buffoon of the highest order. You're an absolute turd.
Like the most ridiculous shit I've ever heard in my life.
Fine. Nobody said that. Something that I did not say is the most ridiculous thing you've heard. You didn't hear me say it. Do you want to rewind the video a bit, Nicholas?
Every basic fundamental tenet from the ground up anyway. Okay, what's next?
Oh,
But
God.
Tucker
Good comeback.
affirms the opposite.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
No, he doesn't, still.
Yeah, he does.
No, he doesn't, Nicholas. Still, no.
Actually,
Not that I've ever heard.
that's a false claim.
Not in this video. That's what I'm responding to. You claimed that he said something. You need to provide the evidence in this video that he said it. You haven't done so, ergo I don't believe you. Why would I? You've misrepresented everything he's had to say in this video. So why would I believe you about something he may or may not have said elsewhere?
That's a false claim.
No, it isn't. I'm talking about this video.
Tucker actually does affirm that omega-3s are anti-atherogenic.
I don't believe you, Nicholas. Show me some proof that that is so.
He affirms that.
I have no faith in your ability to interpret anything said by Tucker Goodrich or anybody else for reasons that are made very clear in this video. Show me the evidence. If he did say that, that's his mistake, not mine.
Negation of the conclusion. You can disagree about whether or not that conclusion is formed from the premises there, but Tucker does affirm the negation of that conclusion.
I don't accept that, Nicholas, until you prove that it is so. And then even then, all I would need to accept then is that Tucker made a mistake if he did say that at some point. That doesn't reflect on me at all.
What the fuck is Bart talking about? Oh,
That's the point here, Nicholas. You have no idea what I'm talking about. Because it's completely and utterly above your station and above your level and your capacity to engage with such a discussion.
like
And it's also completely out with your capacity to hear anything that you don't want to, clearly.
Tucker actually says
Yeah, you've said that. You've made that claim. We've heard you make that claim. We haven't seen the proof that it's so. And it certainly has not been provided in this video, which is what I am responding to still.
That omega-3s are anti-atherogenic. That they're
He didn't say that in this video. And neither does he. Is he required to accept the truth of that proposition? Whether or not he accepts or rejects P1 or P2, which are neither of those are things that he said anyway. There is no contradiction in anything Tucker Goodrich had to say in this video.
not atherogenic, which is the negation of that conclusion.
No, it isn't.
This is Bart just like being completely fucking lost.
No, I'm not lost still, Nicholas. I'm still absolutely on top of it here. Have been all along. It's really clear who it is that's really struggling. This is projection. It's desperate, it's destitute, it's pathetic. Nobody is fooled. Nobody with more than 4 brain cells.
It's right here. He's just babbling at this point.
Who's babbling? Who is babbling here, Nicholas? Who is out of their depth, completely babbling? Please do leave your comments under the video and let me know which one of us is babbling.
Heard?
Because you can't, of course, put it under Nicholas's video because he's bravely disallowed the comments section on his video here. Brave Sir Robin ran away, brave Sir Robin. When danger reared its ugly head, he bravely turned his tail and fled. Brave Sir Robin.
And if he does, that's his mistake. That's exactly as bad a mistake as claiming something is atherogenic to claim that it is not, or that it is protective in any way.
This guy's brilliant. I like this guy. He knows his stuff.
That's Tucker's problem, not mine.
That is your problem because you've claimed Tucker has said stuff he hasn't said, Nicholas. Ergo, you are 100% completely in the wrong and it's your problem. And I'm your problem now, son. I'm all over you.
There's no evidence for that either.
Which means that he would have to affirm by his own definitions.
No,
by your definitions.
Your definitions of what you are proposing, he said.
There's me back in my place again. Now then, let's carry on.
Remember? False lies about what you are proposing, he said, which he did not say.
That he has FN and not FN.
Speak English, son. That's what we speak here. We speak English. If you're not going to speak English, shut your ignorant fucking pie hole.
So wait, he's saying that I fail at logic, but he's actually not, he's not showing like the logical failing.
Yes, I have. Once again, let me make it clear for you and patient for you once again, Nicholas. P1 is based purely in your fantasy world. You have claimed that Tucker Goodrich has asserted P1. He did not. You have asserted that P2 is so, which may or may not be true. It's irrelevant. You have also asserted that P3 is something that Tucker Goodrich must accept on the basis that he is proposed to have said P1. He didn't. And P3 is also factually, demonstrably vacuous, incorrect, and does not stand on its own merits. Ergo, your argument, Nicholas, is worthless. It fails completely. Okay?
Like he's just saying speak English, but like how does that
Yes, everybody heard what I just said.
interact with the argument? How does that interact with the law?
That statement standalone doesn't interact with the argument other than to remind you that your ridiculous shorthand is based in an area of pseudo-logic, the study of logic so-called, whereby turds like you hide in your mummy's basements, circle-jerking each other off, writing little symbols down there, making out like that makes you ever so clever and proves your points absolutely, when it does no such fucking thing. Your entire formalism here is based on a fantasy around what you propose somebody else had to say on a topic, when in fact they said nothing remotely similar. Still,
Logic.
In an English-based discussion, this ridiculous nonsense on the board is of no value.
So this is highly problematic for his view.
No, it isn't. You have
there I am again, back in my place again.
no idea what his view is, even because you have misrepresented his view totally from every basic building block.
Because he has a contradiction that he needs to.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
No, he still doesn't.
Not that I've ever heard.
Resolve. Now, there are certain ways he could try to go around and like try to deal with this.
Like.
But they're
Like there's a difference here.
Like, is there? What's the like difference like, Nick? Literally.
So you could have a view that you could state
Again, it's me that's waffling inanely, of course, isn't it? Boys and girls.
a series of propositions that form a conclusion that is the negation of another proposition that you also affirm.
Only he didn't affirm either of the propositions that you claim he affirmed. So your argument falls flat on its face. Still.
But it could also be the case that you just have never affirmed the two at the same time.
So?
Like you could be unaware that you hold beliefs that form a conclusion that is contradictory to some other.
All right, so now Tucker Goodrich is unaware of his own beliefs on things, is he? I think out of Tucker Goodrich, myself, and yourself, Nicholas, it's clear which one of the three is unaware of himself. Okay?
Other view that you have, like that's perfectly fine. He doesn't have to state these things.
You said that he does have to accept P3 if he asserts P1, which he didn't. So he need do no such thing. Okay?
Like this is just nonsense.
Yes, Nicholas, what you have done here is just nonsense. All of it. Worthless from the ground up. What's next?
Not going to work for him, right?
Yes, they are, probably, if he actually does bother to respond to you. Do you have any evidence that he has ever claimed that omega-3 oils are protective in any way, Nicholas?
Yes.
Okay, we'll bring it to the table because you didn't do it in this video, and that's what I'm responding to. If he did, that's his error, not mine. What's next?
Yeah, in both of the debates. In both of the debates, the one that he
Yeah, you just said that.
had with Alan Flanagan and the one that he had with Matt Nagra, he affirmed in both of those debates that omega-3s are anti-atherogenic, and that's just that.
Okay, well, it's not just that, though, Nicholas. You need to prove that because you've said in this video what you believe it is that he affirmed in this video, and you got that wrong. Completely wrong. You said in P1, you made a 3-part statement about what he affirmed. He affirmed no such part of that. No part at all. You got it wrong. You misrepresented what Tucker Goodrich affirmed. So why in the purple fuck would we believe you just because you say so? I am responding to this video. And this video does not contain the evidence that you claim it does. Ergo, you fail, as does your argument. What's next?
He may have said that at one point, in which case that is an error on his part.
There it is again. God, he's won so many points today, hasn't he, on that?
But you are proposing he said that, and given that the two other things that you have proposed that Tucker had to say, you played
There it is again.
what he actually did have to say for us on the video here, on your video, and it proves absolutely that he said no such thing. So why would we trust you when you claim that he said something else?
Shit, the echo's good in here, isn't it?
You've got two things in this video that you claim he said completely wrong, so why would we believe you on the third one? Show me the evidence that he ever said it was protective.
But you're affirming P1 and P2.
No, I'm not, and neither is he. You are. You are claiming that Tucker Goodrich affirmed that. He didn't. You're now have repeatedly in this video claimed that I'm accepting those premises. I'm not. Again, Nicholas, it's just evidence that you have no ability to hear what is actually being said. At all. None.
And from P1 and P2, P3 follows.
No, it doesn't, because P1 and P2 both fall flat on their face and fail. They do not hold any weight. They crumble under the first inspection.
And I don't see how it doesn't follow.
That's your problem. You don't see anything. You don't see dick about fuck, Nicholas. You only see what you want to see desperately to subserve your own, actually fragile ego, I would suggest.
And that just leads to the conclusion.
No, it doesn't. It leads to no such thing at all. You cannot dictate what conclusions somebody else must draw on the basis of a complete false representation of what they did say. It's ridiculous, son.
It's ABC 1, 2, 3 shit, Bart. The hell are you talking about?
Exactly. That's my point. You don't understand what is being said here because you are too fucking stupid to grasp it. You're an imbecile.
Right? Not without changing his view and affirming other contradictions. So
No, wrong, Nicholas. You're just being a fucking little boy. You're just being an arrogant little
There it is again.
because you are misquoting the man. You are putting words in his mouth and you are claiming he said things he did not say.
he would have to either change his view
You've said that already. It was wrong the first time and it's still wrong now.
or affirm a different contradiction. And I'll
No, wrong again.
explain why. Like, he could say something like this. He could say that omega-3s interact with other pathways that change the uptake of oxidized LDL particles.
There you go. That's a possibility. Can you refute that possibility as being extant? Have you gone through every possible means by which there could be a differential reaction in
There we go again. See, confused, lost, completely fucking lost. Look at it.
the body at large to omega-3?
That's irrelevant. What
No, it isn't.
the fuck is he? Why is he asking me this?
There we go. So Nicholas's little video is entitled Bart K Can't Track Simple Arguments. Is that projection, do you think, boys and girls? Which one of us, Nicholas or I, seems to be incapable of tracking simple arguments? Which one? Comment below. Let me know what you think.
Than omega-6.
And I'll pretend to give a fuck. I do give a fuck what most of my supporters think, because I know what they think. They agree with me, of course. Because if they don't, it's hate speech, Nicholas. That's how the rules work on my channel. Perhaps you should allow them to comment on your video, and then they could say whatever they like over there, and they'll probably say the same thing.
Nicholas?
Brave Sir Robin ran away.
No, you haven't. Pop yourself to fuck then.
In macrophages,
irrelevant.
and maybe that modifies heart disease risk. So
No, not risk. Risk is a cause and effect statement.
that is
Risk is a cause and effect statement.
Fuck, the echo is good in here.
There are no experiments to
I said maybe it was a conditional, Bart. I don't know why the fuck you're bringing this up. I don't.
Because it's absolutely cogent to the argument here, Nicholas. That's why. It's all clear indication as to how it is you're so badly messed up. Bye-bye, GoPro. Must be full. Beep, beep, beep. Anyway, carry on.
I don't know why you're objecting. It was a conditional statement.
inform on risk, Nicholas. None at all. Wrong again.
actually, it seems
Wrong? Like, how is a conditional statement wrong? Like, how is a conditional proposition? Like, how?
Oh, shut up, you boring little Shut up. You've been eviscerated. You've been dealt to. You've been put back in your box. You've been soundly spanked by a vastly superior intellect and someone with vastly more experience, wisdom, and knowledge on this topic area than yourself. Suck it up, son. Learn from it. Wind your neck in, pull your fucking head in, and learn some fucking respect. Everything you've had to say on this and pretty much every other topic you've ever spoken about publicly, Nicholas, has been demonstrably in error. You don't know dick about fuck. What's next?
How is a conditional statement wrong?
Repeat yourself won't make any fucking difference, Nicholas. The only reason you're repeating yourself over and over and over again is because you're desperately waiting for your brain to catch up. It's not going to, son. You're out of your depth.
Unless, like, something in it is non-propositional, like.
Oh, shut up, for fuck's sake. Honestly. Boys and girls, can you believe this?
What the fuck is he talking about? I said, if this, then
We know you don't understand what I'm talking about, Nicholas. We've got that clearly.
that.
Be the case that omega-3s can actually modulate the uptake of oxidized LDL particles.
There you go. That immediately releases the noose that you propose you've put around Tucker's neck there.
What?
Again, get completely lost, lose the thread entirely, as usual, and respond to that by giggling like a prepubescent schoolgirl. Wow.
The argumentative sense. And now you're giving him the absolute out that says, there you go. We're done.
No.
Yes.
This actually forms a contradiction on
No, it fucking doesn't, Nicholas. No.
P1.
Yeah, so
P1 is your fantasy, Nicholas, nobody else's. P1 is your wet dream. Tucker Goodrich did not say P1 or anything similar to P1 in this video. False.
all 3 points you had to make in this video, Nicholas, wrong on all 3. 2 complete misrepresentations, lies, fundamentally incorrect statements about what Tucker Goodrich did in fact say, and then a 3rd false statement about what logically follows from what and what must be so if then that, the other thing, whatever else, nonsense. And by the way, here's a perfect out for all of it anyway. Good work, Nick.
It's an internal critique, Bart.
You said that before, Nicholas. It still has no bearing on what I just said, whatsoever. None at all. It's a desperate attempt to try and hang on by your fingernails to some semblance of saving face when you've been all over the place. Suck it up.
What's the problem? Like, you still haven't told me what the problem is.
I have. You are unable to hear it, Nicholas. Clearly.
You really are a complete fucking cockstain. What's next?
So that could be one reason why there could be one differential property between these two different polyunsaturated fatty acids, such that they have different effects on heart disease risk. However,
Not risk. Risk is a cause and effect statement. You need an experiment. Pop yourself directly back to fuck.
if he submits this
just
evidence
irrelevant.
to me,
No, it just isn't irrelevant. It's a fact. And it's a fact that needs to be kept salient at all times.
If you want to ace your paper, download Grammarly. Are you?
Yeah, no.
So now you want to take the role of both protagonists? You've already done that in this video, Nicholas, by claiming falsely that he said things he did not say. Now you want to present...
Look at the look on his face again. But I can't track simple arguments, apparently.
his evidence on his behalf so that...
Yeah, it's an internal critique.
Yeah, you said that, and it still has no bearing whatsoever on what I've had to say in this video or anything else at any time, anywhere. It's just noise, Nicholas.
Right? I'm going to show how it affirms a contradiction on...
It affirms nothing of the sort, because Tucker Goodrich did not say P1. Therefore, he need not accept P3, which is wrong anyway, and P2 is irrelevant. We've covered this. Your argument is vacuous.
P1 if he brings it to the table.
P1 is vacuous. It's false. It's your wet dream. Nobody else's.
That's the point.
He doesn't bring it to the table. That's the point. Ergo, this is pointless. As are you silly boy.
you can now refute his evidence that he has not fucking produced.
It was conditional if he produces that.
Yeah, but he didn't. So fuck off. You idiot. You silly boy. You're wasting our time, aren't you? Because he did not propose or assert P1. Remember?
You fucking moron.
Yeah, we know who the moron is, Nicholas. You insolent little child. You silly little boy. Come and call me a moron to my face, son. Any day of the week. Come and get in my face and insult me the way you have done in this video. See how that turns out for you.
Because he's not talking to you? You're talking to yourself, son. And 101 other people since the 5th of September 2022. Which is today. But, I mean, that's not a great viewership or
Just
response to your
interact
video,
with
is
the
it?
fucking argument.
Yeah, I have, Nicholas, in great depth, clearly. You know, it's now over 2 hours in to make it absolutely patent to anybody whatsoever how clearly I have indeed engaged with the material, with your argument, and destroyed it absolutely and completely and unequivocally from every single fucking angle possible. You have been eviscerated. Totally. Suck it.
You
Good
moron.
idea.
Yeah, stop with the insults, clown, until you are happy to come and do it to my face directly. Or until you have earned the right to insult me. Because you haven't, son. All you have done is shown yourself to be an absolute stain on the backside of humanity. You are an absolute abject failure from every angle. And you have been absolutely dealt with here. Deal with it.
He has to reject P1
No, he doesn't. He doesn't have to do any such thing.
because
No, he doesn't have to do anything of the sort,
Shit, the echo really is good, isn't it?
because P1 is not a statement that he made.
the
Yes, it is.
oxidative
No, it isn't still, Nicholas. Should we go over it again? Did he say for all things? No. Did he say cause and effect on atherosclerosis in any way or in any context? No. Did he say if and only if? No. He did not say P1. Still.
modification of the LDL particles ceases to be a sufficiency criteria.
He didn't say sufficiency either.
He didn't say sufficiency. You said it.
Now, at this part in the video, that might actually be an error on my part.
Oh, that part of the video. All right. What about the rest of it, Nicholas, where you've been in error right from the very first tenets, from the very ground up here? You have bitten off way more than you can chew. You've tried to take a pot shot at someone who is vastly superior to you in every way, and you have failed in the most abject and public way possible. You are now a laughing stock, if you weren't already.
At that part in the video, well, I would have to think about it for a second.
Well, I wouldn't think about it too much, Nicholas, because I wouldn't want you to strain those 3.5 brain cells, okay? Maybe concentrate on getting a cut and putting your pants on in the morning.
But I want to keep the video going.
Dickhead.
At that point, the second he starts bringing in other mechanisms, this
Did he? No,
ceases to
he
be
didn't do that either, did he, Nicholas? No.
a sufficiency criteria.
He didn't say anything about sufficiency at any time.
Didn't say that. Remember?
No, it's entailed on his view, you fucking...
No, it's not, you insolent child. No, it isn't. There are no entailments. There is what he said and what he did not say. And what he did not say is what you claim he said. False.
dick.
You said that.
So he would actually have to change his position.
No, he wouldn't, because he didn't state a position as regards any of your P1, P2, or P3. He made clear and unambiguous statements related to those issues in a way completely unrelated to the way you have formulated them.
No, he wouldn't have to do anything of the sort whatsoever.
Wait, you don't think if somebody has a view that entails a contradiction?
It doesn't. There are no entailments. There is what he said and what he did not say. Still,
that they should change their view?
you don't know what his view is. You've misrepresented his view totally. You are in no position to talk about what somebody else's view is on anything, Nicholas.
That's a hilarious thing to fucking believe.
No, I think I've covered that quite clearly. I think we all know what is hilarious here in this regard, Nicholas.
And reject P1?
No, he wouldn't.
Oh, there it is again. Back in my box. I've been taught a lesson once more by the prepubescent schoolgirl giggle.
He wouldn't have to even acknowledge P1 because he never made P1. You did.
And if he doesn't do that, then he affirms a contradiction on P1.
No, he does nothing of the sort. What Tucker Goodrich does do is make clear and unambiguous statements in his native tongue, English.
Right.
which were quite clear, quite easy to understand to anyone with even a modicum of training in the area, which clearly precludes you, Nicholas.
And the things he said form P1.
Instead, you
He did not say anything remotely similar to P1, Nicholas. We've covered this so many times, it's now a joke.
want to get involved in this ridiculous fucking nonsensical garbage here.
Right. So what's
Right.
the
So
defeater?
he has.
The defeater is he did not say P1 or anything similar to it. P2 is irrelevant. And P3, he does not need to accept because he did not make the statement that you have said he made in P1, and it's incorrect anyway, absolutely, demonstrably. Ergo, nothing that you have said in your little video here is of any value to anyone. It's all just nonsense, Nicholas. It's your wet dream, nothing else.
Basically, the logical structure of P1 and his
No, nonsense. Fuck off. Fuck right off.
negation at the same time.
Okay.
No, fuck off.
I don't think he can go back on P2.
He didn't say P2, you did.
Um,
So he doesn't need to.
That MDA
No,
is
it's
necessary to
entailed.
oxidatively modify LDL particles.
He didn't say that, you did.
he did
I don't
say
think he
that.
can go back
No, he didn't.
on that.
He didn't say that, you did.
He
I
did.
know
He said the measurement of modified LDL particles is typically made using MDA. He didn't say it was necessary to cause it to happen. Okay? Stop fucking lying, Nicholas.
Say
he did
that.
also seem to be affirming that 4-hydroxynonenal can also modify LDL particles, but that's tangential.
Everything you have to say is tangential to facts, reality, objective assessment of anything of any utility or value, Nicholas. It's just rubbish. It's just garbage. It's a waste of time, and that's why, you know, you post a video like this where you think you're so ever so clever, and
At any point in this video, is Bart actually going to interact with the argument, or is he just going to talk?
I did do many times, and again today, Nicholas, even more clearly, so that you might finally get it through your fucking thick skull. Your argument has been decimated here by me today. Absolutely destroyed. Deal with it.
Talk like about the argument being wrong and not actually show that the argument's wrong.
Yeah, I did show it's wrong.
hours and hours later, it's got 101 views. Because nobody gives a rip-roaring fuck about your fucking nonsense, Nicholas.
Well, how does the view count change the truth value of the argument?
It doesn't. It's just interesting to see that people at large have enough intelligence to know to steer clear of your fucking nonsense, Nicholas. You're wasting your time and hours. You should shut your ignorant face permanently. You have no business here. Learn some fucking respect would be a good start. Learn to accurately and objectively measure your own level of competence, or lack thereof, in fact. Get your ego under control. Wind your fucking neck in, frankly. Sort yourself out, son. Okay?
No one with any brains, anyway.
Because he also says that this is a property that MDA has. And it's a property that is true of omega-3 fatty acids. So all
Yeah, you said that already, and it's completely irrelevant to the discussion, Nicholas. We've covered this.
we're really looking at there is a difference in the atherogenicity between fatty acids. We're not looking at what
There is no...
Again, see the stunning level of the comeback there? The little hand gesture? That's me right back in my place again, isn't it, Nicholas? Well done.
established atherogenicity of any substance, Nicholas. That would...
I don't have to affirm anything like that in order for my internal critique to go through. You're just confused, Bart.
No, I'm still not confused, Nicholas. I'm still absolutely on top of it, as I always am. And we can still all see who it is that's confused. Badly, irretrievably confused about so many things. It's incredible, frankly.
take an experiment. Remember? Have you got an experiment? No?
I don't need one. It's an internal critique.
You said that before, and it still has no bearing.
Okay, off you go to fuck again. Off you pop.
One being anti-atherogenic
Don't pass go or collect $200.
versus one being atherogenic. We're looking at one being atherogenic and one being more atherogenic.
So, if you were even correct about atherogenic,
If he understood the argument, he wouldn't be asking so. He's just confused.
No, he just isn't still, Nicholas. We still know who it is that's confused. We've seen who's been confused multiple times just in this alone in trying to even comprehend where exactly the clear, obvious and patent failures of your own ridiculous pseudo-logical progression, if you want to even call it that, lie. The things I've pointed to absolutely, clearly, explicitly and unambiguously. With absolute delight, of course, boys and girls.
genicity, which you're not because there are no experiments to underpin that at all.
Right? So that actually doesn't pose a problem for the syllogism as it's laid out here.
The problem of the syllogism, Nicholas, is it is fundamentally false from the ground up, and it is based on misrepresentations of what was said by whom.
Nope.
It is based.
Yes, still. Did he say for all things? No. Did he say cause and effect with regard to anything and anything else? No. Did he say if and only if? No. Right, well, P1 fails. Still. P2 is irrelevant. Still. Does he therefore need to accept P3 on the basis of P1, which he did not say? No, and it's wrong. We're done. Still. You still failed, Nicholas, completely. Nothing has changed.
Based on absolute lies.
Nope.
Yes, I've just covered that. Rewind this video about a minute and watch it again, Nicholas.
That's the problem with it. It's a waste of time.
Sorry, Tucker.
No, sorry, Nicholas.
I'm pretty sure that your position actually entails a contradiction.
Well, you're wrong for the reasons that I've made absolutely patent in this video.
I didn't actually hear.
Because you're incapable, Nicholas. That's the problem. Sit down and watch this video from start to finish carefully with someone who can help you. Get some adult help, Nicholas. Someone who can help explain to you where it is that you're getting absolutely torn to shreds here. Wow. Just fucking wow.
Like an argument
Like.
that defeats the syllogism here.
Yeah, he still doesn't get it, does he, boys and girls? Wow. Wow.
Other than just him claiming that I mischaracterized Tucker's views. But
It's not a claim, it's a statement of fact, which I've just outlined for about the 100th time in this video, Nicholas. You mischaracterized what he said. Fact. Inescapable, absolute fact. You made a mistake. You thought you weren't going to get called up on it or called out on it. You've been caught out. Suck it.
that's still not clear to me
You're
that I
completely
mischaracterized
fucking
his
wrong, and
views.
you're-
Nothing's clear to you, Nicholas. The brain fog is beyond belief. The Dunning-Kruger is beyond belief. The arrogance is beyond belief. The total lack of respect for your elders and betters is beyond belief. You are what's wrong with society right now, Nicholas. You and your like, and your peers. You are the problem. Wow.
A waste of skin, which I've also made very clear.
And if you want to change,
Also, how much does it fuck?
What the fuck?
Oh, there we go again. There's me back in my box once again. Another prepubescent schoolgirl giggle, just to absolutely eviscerate me fully and finally. Good work, Nicholas.
Fucking cost to cut some. One of these turds. See you then.
Well, that was brilliant, Professor K. We learned a lot. You did well. You did well. Glad I could help to clarify anything that was still confusing to this apparently incapable human being. It still won't go through. He still won't. This will have no effect on Nicholas. He will still think that he has good points and that he's in the right and that anything he has to say is of any value to anybody. He still will not see his own Dunning-Kruger and his own stunning arrogance and lack of respect. It won't make the slightest difference to him, I'm quite sure. But anyway, we had some fun, didn't we? Yes, we did.
Yeah, that was just stupid.
Yes, what you had to say, Nicholas, was indeed stupid. Yes, absolutely, from the ground up.
Like, that was just completely... Yeah, it was, I mean, it was pretty much exactly what I expected. That he was just going to appeal to incredulity and then...
No, that's not what I did. I pointed clearly, squarely, directly, and unambiguously to the flaw in your argument. The multiple flaws in your argument. And I've done so again here today, clearly. Stop fucking lying. Suck it up. You've been absolutely torn to bits.
Just spit a bunch of ad hominem attacks and...
All right, projection there at all? Projection, perhaps?
Just not actually engage with the inference itself.
Yeah, I did, absolutely. Just saying I didn't doesn't actually change the fact that I absolutely did.
Just make a whole bunch of affirmations about what he thinks is the case and just say that it is the case.
Well, did he say for all things? Still no? Okay. Did he say cause and effect with regard to any aspect of atherosclerosis at any stage in this video? Still no? Okay, good. Did he say if and only if? Didn't say that either? Okay. So, P1 fails. Good. Okay, is P2 relevant? Not really, given that P1 has already failed. P3, does he need to accept that? No, because he didn't say P1. And it's wrong, because it says cause. Cause is the wrong word. There is no evidence of cause and effect on atherosclerosis. Neither is there any evidence of atherogenicity, which is another cause and effect inference. So it's wrong, so he doesn't need to accept that either. And therefore, he certainly does not need to accept that omega-3s are atherogenic, because that's reductionism of it in the highest order. You yourself gave an example of how that might be not so, by way of, for example, omega-3s directly moderating the rate at which other things are uptaken by the cells. Whoops, we're done here, Nicholas. Your argument absolutely, utterly, completely fails. Sorry. But giggle away, though. Giggle away, because that will prove me wrong somehow.
Without actually interacting with the inference at all. Yeah,
I did. Did you not hear me just now, or would you like to rewind it? And have another listen, Nicholas. Maybe you'll hear it this time. Again, get some adult help to sit down with you and to explain the big words to you. Okay?
Pretty much exactly what I expected it was.
You said that already. Didn't add anything the first time.
Maybe. I mean, the guy's a clown.
Yeah, we know who the clown is, Nicholas. It's really clear who the clown is. It's really clear who it is that's able to follow logic here and who isn't.
Couldn't track. Like, he was asking me for evidence for things that are entailed from Tucker's view.
No, they're not, because you haven't outlined Tucker's view. You've misrepresented it and mischaracterized it and made something up to suit yourself. And I didn't ask you for anything, Nicholas. I asked whether you had something that I know damn well you don't have, evidence. See how that's different? Again, you seem to, again, it's me that can't track, though. Okay, good, son, good.
Why? It's an internal critique.
Yeah, you said that already. I don't know how many times.
Did you ever expect me to provide the evidence for the views?
I don't expect you to do anything, Nicholas, except shut the fuck up permanently, because you're out of your depth. You've been outclassed. You've been dealt to. You've been made the laughing stock. And who made you the laughing stock? You did, son. Okay, deal with it. Learn something. I know you won't, but it's my hope that you will.
Is that Tucker affirms.
He did not affirm anything that you claim he affirmed. He did not at all. No.
Like, that's just That's just fucking stupid.
Now, what's stupid is you sitting there saying what you're saying right now on the basis of everything that's happened here. Everything that's been laid out very, very clearly here. That's what's fucking stupid, Nicholas. You are the one that is stupid, Nicholas. You're a moron.
Yeah, like what?
I think we're done. Boys and girls, thank you for your patience. Thank you for sitting through all of that. Another 2.5 hour extravaganza. I hope you learned something from it. It was fun to put together. Yeah, I think we're done with Nicholas entirely for all time. Very clear, very unambiguous, very easy to understand. Even Nicholas's supporters with less brain cells than him, so 3, will probably understand how it is that Nicholas is wrong here, if they can get their hands off it long enough. Okay, right. Join me next time when someone else will be wrong on the interwebs. Oh, so very wrong. Enjoy. See you then.